Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gemma. Today we're going to do something a bit different to what we've been doing so far, and I want to take you on my editing journey with me. It's not going to be any tutorial or anything like that, but one of the biggest things I've learned from doing various photography courses is that I learn a lot from talking through what I'm doing, but also getting feedback from others. So what I want to do with this series is show you what I'm looking at in my images when I'm editing them. Not specifically my editing process, because to be honest it's not that complicated. I don't do that much with my images, but I just wanted to show you what I'm looking for when I'm looking at my images. So today we're going to have a look through the images I took when we went to Puzzlewood. It was a very challenging day. The light was very bright, which meant the skies were quite blown out, but the trees were very dark in the shade. So I'm not sure how my pictures have turned out. I'm not overly hopeful, but I guess we'll see. There should be at least one or two decent ones in there. So hopefully you'll come along with me, see how I go about editing and what I'm looking for. And if you want to get involved, then great, in the comments leave some constructive feedback. I'm going to caveat that because this is the internet. I mean constructive feedback. The deal is there has to always be one positive with one negative, okay? So I like the image because of this. However, have you thought about doing that? Would be great. That kind of feedback, all on board for that. So let's go. Some mushrooms, you can definitely see the mushrooms in that one, that's for sure. And it was quite dark, so I had ISO 400, I think, which isn't that high, but with my camera still makes it a bit grainy, so just gonna play around with the settings a little bit. I do actually want the leaves to go back a bit because I want the mushrooms to be the focus of the image. So I'm going to try and get quite a bit of contrast in there. If I'm honest, these are really the only sliders that I use to edit my photos. This and cropping are about all I do. There's quite a lot of dead space up the top and a bit on the right and left, so I'm going to just try cropping it down a little bit because I want the mushrooms to run through the whole image. Okay. I quite like that one. It's still a bit grainy. I don't know that I'd use it for too much, but it will work on social media and on the Puzzlewood video, which you have already seen, but I haven't quite put together yet. Okay, so we're going to keep that one. Okay, definitely like the light kind of, oh, didn't mean to do that. The light coming through and hitting the side of the hill there, and also hitting the railings on the stairs. You can see I'm tempted, like, this is very, very dark and you can't really see the details. So for me, that's kind of something that I look at and think I need more detail in there. But I'm wondering if maybe I don't. Maybe the contrast is a good thing. I definitely need to crop that. There's a lot of dead space over here on the left that I don't like. I'm just wondering whether I do a square crop or if I do a vertical crop. I think actually a vertical crop might be better because there's quite a lot of dead space on this side as well. So let's have a look at that. I don't know if this is the right way you're supposed to do a vertical crop. Because there's a lot of lines upwards, isn't there, here? So I think that leads into quite a nice vertical image. I'm going to play around a little bit. I do think it needs a little bit of lightening. So I mean, if I lift the shadows, there's just a lot going on. Like, what is the eye actually focusing on? But if I put it right down, you kind of follow the line of the stairs and then onto that hill and then up the trees. Yeah, I think there's something there. It's not the best photo in the world, but I do quite like the lines and how it follows up. I quite liked this one when I took it. I know it's very dark. Again, it's going to be a common theme throughout. But there's a doorway here, which at the moment you can't really see. But I quite liked the doorway and then the stairs splitting off. So let's see what we can do with that. Yeah, actually, I like this one being a bit brighter. Quite like this one. There's just something about the divide, the split that I'm quite enjoying. Let's just knock down the highlights a little bit. Oh, that's quite nice. I am just wondering if I should make, because there's something a bit fairy tale about this, one of the things I kind of associate with fairy tales is not necessarily bright colours, but a bit hazy. I'm wondering whether to try and play around with that a little bit. Let's see what happens if I drop the contrast down. It just becomes a bit boring then though, doesn't it? Whereas I quite like that. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe fairy tales are brighter. Don't know. Yeah, quite like that. I wonder what, I don't really use this dehaze if I'm honest, so let's just have a play around with that. It does make it a bit fuzzier. I guess that's kind of what I was talking about, but I'm not actually sure I like it. It looks like I've got a misted up camera lens. Although maybe there's something to it. Actually, I do quite like it. Just kind of makes it look like there's a bit of a misty, foggy. Yeah. Okay, one of the things that I do is I kind of look away and then I look back and I just go, what's my eye immediately drawn to? And these couple of posts at the bottom are bothering me a little bit, so I'm just going to have a look and see if I can crop those out without losing anything else. And actually, if I'm cropping that bit out, I might just try and crop this bit on the right hand side out. Always look at the edges of your photos. Okay, I think that's a bit better. Yeah, I like that. I like kind of it's less of a divide now, but it's more of a swoop round, which actually I think I prefer because you kind of see the door and go follow it round up the steps, or you see the steps and you follow it round to the door. So actually, yeah, no, that's good. Annoying that there's a sign there, but I'm not the kind of person to edit that out. So that will do for that one. Not sure what I was trying to do with that one. Oh, that's dark. So I take another one that's a bit brighter. Nope, still really dark. Good. It's a very nice tree. I knew I wasn't going to be a huge fan of the photos I took on this trip, but let's play around with the crop a little bit and see. Because one, it's not centered, but it's also not in the third, so it's kind of just floating there. Finding these branches down here quite distracting, and you can definitely see the fencing here, which I don't particularly like. And this branch is kind of annoying too. Let's try a vertical crop. It's still got a branch there, which I don't really like. Put it on the third, so it's like on the edge of the image and then going across to the side. Just looking at the image over here, hasn't got the lines across it. There's maybe something there, because that at least gets rid of the bits at the bottom. There's still this bit there, and I don't really like that, but I'm not clever enough to edit it out. It's also very grainy. It's funny, isn't it? Because when I first looked at this, I didn't even see that across there, and obviously I didn't see it when I took the photo, otherwise I would have moved. But now that I've seen it, I can't not see it. It's really annoying. Okay, let's move on. This is where the light was coming through to catch the ferns. I quite like that. I'm wondering actually if I can make more of it. The contrast, maybe if I could. Am I going to crop it? Yeah, the white in the corner is distracting. Okay, let's try it. I'm going to try and be bold. It's not very often that I am. Let's try it. Where do I want to crop to? I don't want too much of boring stuff in the bottom. I've still got that. Those bits at the top which are a bit annoying. The bottom. Maybe I could just do it so that it's not a normal standard shape. Don't want that bit. I'm not sure I particularly want that much of that bit. Again, because I had the ISO at 400, it's going to be quite grainy if I crop in too much. No, I don't. No, we're being bold, remember. Okay, let's go with that and see what we can do. What I'm thinking is if I raise my highlights, that's going to make the fern stand out, and you can see all the lines on it, which I think is really cool. And then if I drop the shadows, it might make the background it's weird, but I kind of like it. What do you think? I'm going to have to use the spot removal. I don't want to use this very often, because I've got to get rid of that, because that's annoying. I don't know what I've done. Do that. But I want to try and get that bit out as well. So it's a lot easier when it's just a black to spot things out. And now I'm trying to tell what's the dirt on my screen and what's the dirt in the image. Okay. It's a bit arty-farty, but I kind of like it. I like the greens and the lines on it. And I guess it plays into the light and shadow, which has been the whole theme of this trip. Yeah, okay. Sometimes it pays off to be bold. There was a lot of people around, and I was trying to keep out of the way because there was quite a few large groups of people at this specific point in time. So I was just pretending to take photos. so that I didn't have to speak. That's what this is, so yeah, this is nothing. I don't know if I prefer this one to the other one or not. Actually, I think I do, because it gets rid of a lot of this messiness and a lot of that messiness. I wonder if I could crop just to get rid of that. Would that take too much out of the bottom? I guess I could. Depends where I want my lines, really. Because that branch is sort of sitting on the third, which I quite like. I liked this one because this was like the final bench, and then it went out to a big field at the back, so all of the light was coming in. So what I did here was I took multiple pictures at different exposures to try and capture all of that. And that way I will have more control over the lights and darks. So I'm going to merge those together, and then I'll come back to you because my laptop's really slow and it's going to take a while to do it. So bear with and we'll get that sorted. Right. I just went and had a look. I made apple and cinnamon loaf cake before I started editing, and I have not greased the tin well enough, and now it's stuck. I don't know how I'm going to get it out. So that'll be an interesting challenge once we're finished editing. Right, these pictures have merged together. So this is basically taken the one that I've overexposed and the one that I've underexposed, and the few that I've taken in the middle and slapped them together. Which is very helpful because that gives me much more range in the exposure. It just takes a long time. I tend to not do it too much. I think if I had a more powerful computer, it'd probably be really quick, but I don't, so I try and avoid it if I'm honest. But sometimes it works really well. So, and if I've not got any other choice, I quite like that one. And I quite like the colours that come out on the corner. You kind of show that. And I always love a good picture with a bench in. So. I think the next one's exposed slightly better. Yeah, a little bit. I don't really know how I feel about this one either. I mean, I really like the light on this. It's quite, it almost looks like there's a spider there, like that's the body, and then there's a leg off and a leg off. It's like you look at the image and what you first see is the light hitting the hill, and then you look into the background, you're like, oh, what's that? It's quite Halloweeny. Maybe that's because it's the time of year it's making me think of that. Well, it won't be that time of year when you're watching this, but it is right now. Yeah, I like that. They're all looking a bit samey now, aren't they? I don't know if it's just me. I like a clean image. This is not that at all. I think when I started out in photography, I might have been okay with this. The more I've learned, the more I pay attention to what else is in the image, not just the focus of it. One, I'm not really sure what the focus is of this. But two, like, these trees in the back are just awful. Maybe I'll try cropping them out. Still, I don't know what my eye's looking at because you've got the light here, you've got this branch here, you've got the fence and the pavement not pavement, path there, the trees in the back. No, I think that's a no for me. Again, I'm not convinced there's much there either. I need to start getting a bit ruthless, because this is how you end up with a billion pictures. And 3/4 of them are mediocre. You don't do anything with them. And I don't need more of that. I've got enough external hard drives with my images on that. I don't need more. I mean, I kind of like the rocks and the leaves. This is super distracting and horrible. I don't particularly like that. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Let's try making it a landscape instead of a portrait. But just the rocks and the leaves. Yeah, I kind of like that. And you've got the pathway, as it were, up through the middle, so it kind of leads your eye through the image. This time I'm going to raise the highlights. Drop the shadows a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if I change the settings in a way that just makes it basically the same as when I first took it. Okay, I like that. Well, that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? I think I knew that it was going to be challenging and that the images were going to be challenging. They were. But there's a couple in there that I really like, and then that's the main thing. I mean, I do photography because I enjoy it, and going out with my camera is just well-being for me. It makes me feel so much better. So that's the whole point of it. But hopefully it was useful to see how I go about editing my images, what I'm looking for in the images that I choose, what I don't particularly like. There was a lot of what I don't particularly like, but we're going to do a few more episodes of this, and I will not go to Woodland. I will go somewhere else, and hopefully it will be interesting to see how I go about looking at different types of images, and not just woodland photography. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, or at least it provided some entertainment seeing me really frustrated, then please give the video a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, or like my wandering photography images, then hit subscribe and the little notification bell, and that will let you know when I upload any more videos. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!